So with the up-and-coming GS Trophy in Albania next year, a lot of BMW GS riders have been training very seriously to get ready for this amazing event. South Africa is no different. After the previous qualifier a while ago and nationals in 3 weeks' time, every province in SA has been getting ready to send their riders to the GS Trophy national event. The Northwest team wanted in on the action, and we were very fortunate to be invited to a training weekend in preparation for nationals. The team of riders who would be training us were an assortment of excellent riders with serious skill sets, from a local terrain expert all the way to a past trophy champion. Coming from the whole Northwest team, thank you to everyone organizing the training weekend and the sharing of your knowledge. We really appreciate your efforts. We once again ended up in Klerksdorp at the awesome racing facilities at Star Raceway. The Northwest team met up at BMW Klerksdorp. We checked that everything was good on our bikes and we set out to start our weekend. Now then, let's get into what we did for our training for the GS Trophy national event. Upon arriving at the track, we immediately started. Exercise 1 was once again the parallel logs, this time with a bit of an advanced curve to it. It had a small twist at the end. Most of the exercises we would be doing would form the same structure, so our Northwest team consisted of 3 riders. Upon completing the exercise once or twice, we then had to do it in unison, keeping a 1 meter gap between the 3 of us. We had a small discussion about what we should change to improve our technique and went with that. The trick here was before entering the parallel logs, we should already be close to each other, and that the second trick was that no rider should make any sudden adjustments to his speed. If one guy opened up the throttle, we would leave behind another guy and thus being disqualified from the exercise. Exercise 2 was the good old-fashioned log grind. The trick with the log grind is entering it at a 45-degree angle and then putting all of your weight on your outside peg, meaning in this situation the peg on the left hand side. You then pick up your leg on the right hand side to make sure you don't put any weight on the inside peg. I was struggling a bit with this, but after some quick help I was doing much better. We then also went further and did it together as a team. The first time doing the log grind together as a team, we had a couple of mishaps, but pretty soon after we were doing just fine. Exercise 3 was the bike lift over a log. This was something that tired us out extreme amounts. So the whole point of this is putting all 3 bikes in neutral and then lifting them over a big stump. 2 guys had to go down at each of the 2 forks. The special trick, as we were taught, was jumping on the back of the bike. This was a pretty funny twist to the whole thing, as at first we couldn't understand how this would work. But the amount of weight that it takes off the front end of the bike is just crazy. So lifting up and picking up all 3 bikes over this log was then stopwatched. Our times increased dramatically over the 3 or 4 times that we tried doing it. And eventually we set on 45 seconds. Next up was probably one of the most difficult exercises of our entire weekend. Exercise 4 was a straightforward figure 8, but it had a small twist. It was against a really steep uphill. I know on the GoPro footage it doesn't look that steep of an uphill, but the bikes literally had to be spun to get up that massive hill. We later thought, we were later introduced to try something new by entering the figure 8 from the top, doing the difficult bit first. But we had some serious drops here and some serious crash bar bends, bark busters. Yeah, it was a pretty fun experience. It's still, I guess, one of the things I need to practice the most in preparation for nationals. The chances of it also being a nationals, we have no idea. But we trained, we did it, and we were hoping that we could broaden our skills at least. But yeah, lots of fun, and I took some serious knocks here and there. On top of the uphill figure 8, exercise 5 was brake and power slides. Now these power slides, there's something that are truly difficult to master. I feel like it takes a lot of instinct and a lot of skill and training to be able to really perform well in these, especially without putting down one of your feet. It's a lot easier to come in with a nice and long stretched brake slide, putting your foot down and then exiting with your power slide. But doing the two of them together really creates a whole new level of skill. It's definitely something that did frustrate me a bit. Thanks Mark for some encouraging words there at one point. I was getting pretty negative, but yeah, it was yet again a bit of a learning curve, and also something that I'm sure the rest of our team was also going to practice a lot. And yeah. Next up, we did a quick lap or two on the track there at Star Raceway. Always fun to just do some straightforward track riding. Although the GSs do perform quite oddly on these tracks. They're not built for these big adventure bikes, and some of those bumps there you can really mess up big if you're not focusing. But yeah, always lots of fun. So yeah, we were getting close to the end of day one. We started to get ready for the GPS run, where we would be getting coordinates to then decipher into different forms of coordinates, and then using that to get our second location, third location, and then thus tracking down the other riders. We had a quick lunch, and as you can see, we were getting pretty tired after a long day of riding, and soon we set off. Luckily we had JP. He was our navigator. He by far had the most experience on a GPS out of the three of us, and not before long we were already at our first location. We got our next set of coordinates from one of the lovely ladies over at Western Bar outside of Klerksdorp. We deciphered them pretty quickly, but unfortunately they found out that we'd used our phones to decipher the first one, so our phones got confiscated, and with my GoPro's battery getting pretty low, I knew that I was gonna have to really decide what I wanted to record. We set out to our third location. Not before too long we raced through the town to get there. Yeah, we were going a bit fast. JP even did a quick stunt. Upon arriving at Tyre, we had to do some monkey bar swings. Have to admit they took some strength, but after having some fun on those, over at Tyre, we had to also do some technical stuff. There was a massive Tyre parked outside, over which we had to pick all three of the bikes yet again. It took us quite some time to get all three of them over there, but eventually we managed. Once we finally got the bikes over that massive Tyre, we did some stair exercises. So long ago this place was an old diving school, so there were these deep concrete pits that were still remaining, and we had to do some stairs, climbing and down. And also it was starting to get a bit dark, so the GoPro wasn't performing as well anymore as well. But we had an awesome first day. and we were super tired after all of the riding that we had done. Once again, just thanks so much for everybody training us. This was such a lovely first day, and we were looking forward to the second and third day of our training weekend. And then just lastly, thanks Jock for that lovely vodka lemon twist mix in my helmet. I really loved smelling that for the rest of the training weekend. Never a dull moment in Cloudstorm.